welcome back to Straight Facts. Sorry about being a little bit late, but I was in a meeting, a business meeting, and by golly, we may have something cooking for the football terrace that you are all going to love. I don't know why I said by golly, though. I've never spoke like that in my life,
bro. Once it wasn't me late, by the way. I was actually on time.
If actually Lee was early, I was late. I was in a meeting, so very sorry, people. But still hit that like button. Still subscribe. If you haven't turned on the bell notifications yet, why? Get it done, my people. Lots to talk about today. Harry Kane's record, is it relevant? We're going to go into. Pochettino, he's about to, I've heard, reject Tottenham. We're going to speak about Spurs first, and then we're going to get into a little bit of a chit-chat about Saka's new deal. Is Thomas Partey going to miss the game against Leeds? Saka's outrage as well when it comes to his deal. We're going to delve into everything today. But I wanted to start off, Lee, and we're going to do some hot takes as well. I've got 2 crazy hot takes to get Lee's attention on, but we're going to try and keep the sections to a point, just so we can get to the end bit without Lee having a rough.
Lee, stop waffling.
Exactly. That's what we're going to try and do. The first thing I want to ask you, we all know Conte's been sacked. But give me your take on that, though, because he's gone now. They're looking at Nagelsmann. They're looking at Poch. What are you saying, bruv?
He was spot on. Everything he said was spot on. And I see a lot of fans from other clubs and Tottenham fans saying that he was trying to get sacked. Really? I don't think he was trying to get sacked. He's leaving, well, or would have been leaving in what, 2 months? 3 months? Like, he's a multi-millionaire. He don't need the money. I don't think he was trying to get sacked. I think he was just fed up with the lack of respect he was shown by Tottenham in the first instance with the 18-month contract, getting them their ambition, their target of top 4, which he achieved. They never renewed or offered him a contract, apparently. And they didn't really back him. And people will sit there and say, what are you talking about? You're chatting rubbish. He spent 200 mil. Well, he didn't, though, did he? Because 50 mil of that was Romero, who they activated the clause in the contract after the loan. He was already there before Conte got there. Jed Spence he didn't want. Bentancur and Kulusevski, okay, cool. They're probably his players. Perisic is probably his player. 60 mil was spent on the pigeon from Brazil. I don't even think he wanted him, Terry. Right? And I worked it out yesterday. I was on a show with Henry, and Henry said about 116, 115 mil is actually what Conte actually wanted to spend or had to spend. But it's been boosted up to like 200 odd million, but it's not his 200 million. Out of that 115 mil, 60 was Richarlison. But at the same time, when he had his 9-minute madness and meltdown, he didn't make himself accountable, and his tactics at times have stunk. Like bringing on a defender when you're going to try and win a game against Milan, and putting out a reserve team against Sheffield United, albeit they should be beating Sheffield United even with the reserves. But at the same time, I think a lot of the outrage towards Tottenham, the ownership, the manager, stems, and I believe this, and maybe it's not the whole reason, but it's because we're doing so well and we're top. If we were 6th, well, they're doing what they did last season. Yeah, they're fighting for top 4. That's what they do. And I've seen a lot of their fans moaning about, we had a free pass to the Cup semi. We would have played Championship and League One teams, etc., which is great. Yeah, cool. But at the same time, you've got no history in my lifetime, really, of ever winning anything. So what makes you think you would have got to the semi anyway?
Do you know what, bro? I think what you said about the Arsenal thing is spot on. Arsenal broke Spurs this year, so the fans lost faith. I think Antonio Conte almost, even, you got to remember, what he rejected joining before Nuno came in, and he rejected it because his ideals, his vision, his ethos was not matched by Tottenham's. And we all know what that meant. They don't want to win as quickly as I do. I think he was hoodwinked. He was promised X and they delivered Y. I think they promised him more players of a certain caliber or age. It isn't even caliber, because this guy went and signed Ashley Young as an example to help him win a league title in Serie A. He doesn't always want the best players. He wants the right individuals for him. And Tottenham didn't deliver. But he was the wrong choice. And I was someone that kind of got swept up in this, where I thought, he could do a really good job. But if they back him, Spurs fans, the chest they demonstrated, and we know that Spurs fans lie, because they say things like, we're going to win trophies. And then when they don't, they always blame the players, the same players they had before at the time of making those big claims. It's the right thing to do to get rid of him, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's about who they get in next. And Nagelsmann is linked. And if Pochettino goes to Real Madrid, which is what... So the story is, Poch wanted Tottenham, but now Poch is saying Real Madrid want me, so I'm saying no to you if you come in. So it looks like he's going to reject Tottenham. And Nagelsmann's waiting to see what happens with Real Madrid before he commits to Tottenham. So they may end up with Julian Nagelsmann. Do you think that's a better manager for Tottenham than Poch or Conte, in terms of they're never going to give Conte what he needs to achieve? Is Nagelsmann a better fit than the other options?
It doesn't matter who the manager is, Terry. They're not going to win anything. Like, let's just have it. Let's just have it right. Yeah, I'll say this every single time we talk about Tottenham. They have won 4 trophies in my lifetime, and I am 41 years old in June. So they'll gas up Nagelsmann, De Zerbi, the lad from Sporting. They'll hype up all of these managers. Thomas Frank's name's in the mix. Poch back and all of this. Doesn't matter who the manager is. They ain't winning nothing. Yeah, there is a proper issue at that football club culturally. Yeah, and it's the players. Any player who decides to play for Tottenham is basically deciding they don't want to win anything. Like, that's it. Look at Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura, I think, has won more than Tottenham Football Club. He's gone to Tottenham and won nothing. And then they want to blame him. Oh, yeah, but he's rubbish. How is he still at the club? Mate, he's bigger than your football club. He's won more than your football club. It doesn't matter who the manager is, Terry. But what they'll do is they'll hype up Nagelsmann, who, in my opinion, bang average. Yeah, like, his football stinks. Yeah, and because he's 35 years old, he got the Bayern job, rocks up on a skateboard. Like, everyone gets hyped. Oh, he changes formation, upside down Christmas tree, inverted Christmas tree. Who cares, mate? Can you win? Yeah, and people will hype that up at Tottenham. Like, oh yeah, this is the process, the project. Look at Arteta, what he's done at Arsenal. Look at Klopp. It took him. Nah, mate, come on. This is Tottenham. Yeah, it doesn't. In Tottenham, you brought up the graphic a couple of weeks ago. They have spent more money in the Premier League than Arsenal have. So it doesn't matter who the manager is. There is a deep-rooted issue at that football club, and that stems from Joe Lewis. That comes from Daniel Levy. It comes all the way down to the players, the board, the ownership, like the managers they bring in. Jose, serial winner. Conte, serial winner. Still not won nothing. Yeah, and they sacked Jose 5 days before a cup final because they didn't want to pay him any extra if he'd won it. That is the mentality of that football club. And until their fans stop hyping up mediocrity and stop going round and around on this little roundabout of, oh yeah, we'll get this manager in, it'll be a process, bring some youth players through, incorporate the good players, yeah, and we'll build something that might come to fruition in 4 years, and then in 3.5 years' time, they'll all want him sacked. Like, what's the point? Until they change that mentality of their football club and make it a winning mentality, which comes from either the fan base or the ownership or both together, they ain't never going to do anything, Terry. They're the nearly club. They're nearly good. And do you know what? Daniel Levy is amazing at business. Fair play to the guy. He's absolutely quality at what he's doing off the pitch. But at the same time, he has mastered the fact that you can qualify for Champions League and you don't have to win anything and you can make a shit ton of money. If you win I said this yesterday, if you win the FA Cup and the League Cup, I think you get prize money wise for a cup double, about 6-7 mil. If you qualify for Champions League, every win in the group stage is 5 mil. Why do they want to compete for trophies? They don't. And he's mastered that. And Tottenham fans have been suckered into that. And what they'll do, they'll get Nagelsmann in or Poch in or De Zerbi, a nice little hipsters manager that go and spank Burnley 6-0, go and spank, I don't know, Luton 7-0. And then they'll get Pam 6 or 7 in a couple of games. And it'll be, oh, but it's a process. It's a project. Round and round they go.
But mate, and I couldn't agree with you more on your point around what they've spent. So since the Premier League began, 1.3 billion spent by Arsenal, 31 trophies won. Spurs, 1.5 billion spent, 70. No, that can't be right. Sorry, No, I'm a liar here. Sorry, ignore the trophy bit. No, because someone's put in the big 6 most spend since club was founded. Someone's put it wrong. It's in the Premier League era, but you've spent 1.3 billion. You've won 3 Premier Leagues, umpteen FA Cups, done two doubles in that time.
Yeah,
Spurs have spent 1.5 billion and they've won 2 League Cups, and it's embarrassing. And I think for me, I think Nagelsmann's a good fit for them, and I'll tell you why I think he's a good fit. Because he will give them what the majority of their club truly wants. He will make the football pretty. It will be fashionable and quirky, so the media will love them, and Spurs fans just all they want is praise. And he will get them every now and then into top 4, so they're ticking that box. But because he's not an established manager with a massive CV, there won't be this pressure on them to win. Spurs fans want to be praised for looking good, and they want no pressure to win. And a manager like Julian Nagelsmann, I think, will do that. I really do think he would deliver for Tottenham what they truly want at their core. They can't have managers like Jose, Jurgen Klopp, Ten Hag, managers who only want to win. You know, they can't have players really that only want to win. Every top Spurs player in the last, and Harry Kane may buck that trend, but every top player that has joined Spurs in my lifetime has left to go and try and win trophies. They've all done it. They've all done it. And the ones that don't have the ambition to win trophies stay, or are not good enough to go and win trophies at the biggest football clubs. And I feel sorry for some Spurs fans because you've got Sava who comes on our show. He wants to win. Expressions wants to win. We have some of our viewers, Jerome and young Daniel. They just want to win. They don't care about all the superlatives and the kind of the style over substance nonsense that so many Spurs fans are addicted to. They are addicted to looking like their quality as opposed to being quality. I'd rather have a broke down stadium that leaks but win trophies than the best stadium in the world and an empty trophy cabinet.
But on the flip side of that, though, Terry, right? If they're only going to achieve top 4 every season, would you rather achieve it by watching entertaining football or boring football?
Oh, by that logic, yes.
So I get why they want that, because they're never going to compete for a title.
And I agree with you, but it gives them exactly what they want. And if you're only gonna qualify for the top 4, then at least do it by entertaining people. I couldn't agree with you more on that. But this is why they're never going to be. They will always be the lesser of the top 6 clubs. They will always be baby bro. They will never.
But how are they even considered top 6? I don't get it. Like, they don't win anything, Terry. Who's shoehorned this club into top 6? Like, if you look at the other 5 clubs, Man City, you can say, oh, before money, they were nothing, whatever, cool. But since money, they've achieved pretty much everything other than the Champions League. Chelsea achieved everything, most successful club last 20 years. Man United and Liverpool, we don't even need to mention. Arsenal, the same. Who shoehorned this little club that don't win anything into the mix? Because Leicester have won more than them. They've won an FA Cup in the league. In the Premier League era, Tottenham have won 2 League Cups. Like, make it make sense. Like, even Wigan have won an FA Cup.
I think it's based on, partly, a lot of the time it's based on size of fan base and clubs turnover. I honestly think that's what the media base it on. And look, I've kind of, my channel is based on the top 6 and it includes Tottenham. But I do think we're at a point where Newcastle's going to be added to that. You know, they're going to come in. Now, what we're going to start saying top 7, that doesn't quite have the same ring to it. It's not a round number.
Should be top 5.
But if you start moving toward top 8s, you might as well say, well, the top up the table then. Yeah. I don't quite know the way round it's going to go. But yeah, look, I think Pochettino is going to reject them for Real Madrid. There's no, I mean, first, I will say this. What are Real Madrid thinking bringing Poch in? I don't understand it.
Mate, that must be Pochettino's like PR team putting that out there, mate. Because that club, if they employ him, I will make this announcement right now, and I'll just say this: if they sign him in the summer, he'll be gone by Christmas. I'm being straight up, mate. You're going in there with Modric, Cruz, Benzema's going to sign a new deal for a 1-year extension. Yeah, you're going in there with Danny Carvajal, Nacho, Courtois, Militao, David Alaba. They've got some serial winners at that football club, yeah? And he's going to go in there, and cool, he's managed PSG and he won a few trophies at PSG. But he's going to go in there and they're going to think, well, hang on a minute, mate. We've had Ancelotti. We've had Jose. Like all the other managers they've had as well. And now we've got him. Like, what are you going to teach us? They've had Zidane winning multiple trophies. Like, what is he actually? No, I do not believe Florentino Perez is that stupid. Yeah, I've seen Real Madrid just get better and better and better and maintain the levels and surpass the levels. Yeah. If they got, I know they signed Lopetegui. I know they've signed other managers, but they realized very quickly with their managers, sack. Lopetegui lasted 14 games. They sacked him. Poch will be gone by Christmas if they sign him. I don't think he'll sign him. They need a marquee manager and a marquee signing this summer because they haven't signed a marquee signing since Hazard.
Oh,
Eden
Real
Hazard.
Madrid. Sorry, for a second
Yeah.
there, I was thinking Tottenham. I was like, Tottenham didn't sign Hazard, did they?
No, no.
Sorry,
Eden Hazard was the last big marquee
you're
signing
right.
they've made.
I think Poch would be. Look, I don't actually think Nagelsmann is overrated as much as you do. I think there's a manager in there. I just think he's a very young manager. I think Bayern Munich came too early for him. I think that he needed to build himself up more, and not even from a knowledge point of view. There is a thing that there's a respect thing, and I know he's older than some of the squad, but he's 34 years old. I think there is almost
30,
an element.
35.
35. There's almost an element of maybe needing to be a little bit older, but I think there's a good manager in there. I would want Nagelsmann at my club over Poch, who is a serial loser who lost in one season he had at PSG. He lost a one-horse race. That's like me looking how I look, entering a beauty competition, being the only contestant in it, and coming second. Imagine that. You come second in a beauty contest where you're the only one in it. It's honestly, it's crazy to me.
It's almost like when Les Dennis pulled Amanda Holden, isn't it?
Amanda
It's like,
Holden.
how did you manage that, mate?
The survey says. Yeah, mate, but that's the thing. Like, Poch has got, I think he's got very good agents. I think they sell themselves brilliant. Like, what's his name? I can't believe he managed Belgium so long. Roberto Martinez reminds me of Poch. It's almost, he gets you playing pretty football. The better the unit of players he's got, the better they perform. But they will always fail in the end. They'll always.
But that's why I don't rate managers like Nagelsmann. Like, Nagelsmann is like, and at the moment, De Zerbi's the flavour of the month. Oh, Brighton! Look at what Brighton are doing. Yeah, Brighton have never won a trophy in 122 years, Terry. So they can play all this great football. They don't care. They're like, and their owner is making an absolute fortune. He is basically a smaller version of Daniel Levy. Yeah, because he's selling players for ridiculous profit and not reinvesting it, and then going and get another cheap little sign in, sell him on for 80 mil. And so, but eventually what happens is that comes to an end, right? And then you end up like Southampton, because Southampton went through this. Oh, look at Southampton's academy. And now they're bottom of the table, because eventually you run out of that. But these types of managers are like, look at what he did in Italy, De Zerbi and Shakhtar, great football. Roberto Martinez, small clubs, great football. That Nagelsmann, is so overrated, it is insane. Yeah, and if he comes to Tottenham, maybe it is a good fit, because they're a shitty little club and he's an average manager. Yeah, but like you said, the footballer looked good. But when he went to Bayern, you have to win. You have to get all of them players on side that have been there, serial winners for decades. You have to get the board of serial winners, legends of that club on side. And you have to win everything, or at least compete to the death for everything. His football last season was shocking. Yeah, but the league is shocking, which is why he won it. This season, they've got even worse, which is why they're second, because everyone else has caught up a little bit more.
Well, this is the thing. The guy here that's actually commenting says, "How are you judging him based on PSG? Look at all the managers PSG have had, zero ball knowledge." But AJ, I'm not just judging him based on PSG. I'm judging him on what I've seen in his entire career, but I'm using that as a case in point. I can also point out to you that in the one title race season he was in with Tottenham against Leicester, he came third. He even bottled coming second in that season. I can also show you when he pulled off a miraculous run to get to a Champions League final. They're in that final, and they did not lay a glove on a pretty average Liverpool on the night. He put in an injured, lame Harry Kane and left out a hat-trick hero from the previous round who was in the form of his life. You can look at the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, where they were absolutely battered from pillar to post. You can look at the League Cup final, where, again, they did not lay a glove in that final. So you can point at some really big games. You can look at title races in the Premier League, and you can look at how they all fell away, and there is a very, very similar narrative in all of them. A lack of cojones, a lack of ability to get a team over the line. So that's my ball knowledge for you, my friend. I don't need to give you, when I'm making a point, most people will understand based on an example what I'm referring to. You saying zero ball knowledge isn't an argument, but I thought I would react. This says, hi, Terry and Lee. Stop supporting Man United and Arsenal. Instead, support Bayern Munich.
I'd prefer Madrid, to be fair.
If I was to give up supporting on Man United, if English football didn't exist tomorrow, I was going to pick a European team. Who would I pick?
Madrid. Best team on the planet.
No, I wouldn't pick Madrid. I think they're a great club. Trying to think, do you know what? I like Napoli. I've always liked Napoli.
Oh, look at this hipster. Look at him. Hipster. You've sucked into this hipster's mentality.
Nothing to do with the football club. I love No, you'll get what I'm saying. I love Southern Italian culture. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's
the mob mentality.
yes, yeah. That's my
Well, you're
reason.
from East London, so I get it.
It's just literally ever since watching The Godfather, I'm like, I wish I was born. Like, if I could be another nationality as well, I'd love to have been born in like the 50s or 60s in like either like Southern Italy or in New York as an Italian American. I'd love it. I love it.
Do you think it'd last long though? Like honestly,
No,
do you think
I got 2 big mouth, man. I'd be dead. But yeah, no, that's Napoli. I'd pick Napoli. I'd pick. But there we go. But yeah, Spurs for me, they're in the little bit of a little bit of the mud as it seems, but they're always in the mud, Tottenham. But we'll see what happens to them. I did want to ask you about. We are going to move on to Thomas Partey soon. The injury report on him, the outrage around Saka. And sort of the returning football. We're going to start talking about the return of football this week on the show as well. And we've got some great hot takes, but I wanted to run this one question by you because you said it to me in WhatsApp earlier and I just left it until now. Do you really think Harry Kane's goal scoring records are irrelevant?
Yeah, he's won no trophies still. If you type in Premier League top goal scorers and go through the list, pretty much all of them have won something. He ain't. Go through the list. They've all won something pretty much. He's won nothing. His record, like for England, like and Toby, I put it on my Instagram story, and Toby replied to it, and he was like, "Yeah, but you could do that for every England player." I said, "Yeah, Rooney's record's just as bad, scoring against Kazakhstan and Liechtenstein and that. Like, come on, we could put an 11 together and beat Liechtenstein, like Gibraltar and teams like that. Let's get real with it." Yeah, the fact and reality is he's won no trophies. It's all great being England's top goal scorer and Tottenham's top goal scorer and Premier League top goal scorer, which he will do at some point. Yeah. The fact is he's won nothing. So I say this to you all the time. I said this last season, the season before, and the season before. Irrelevant runs of form that lead to nothing are irrelevant. Irrelevant goals that lead to nothing are irrelevant. That's it. Terry? So when he sits down in 40 years' time with his grandkids and he's sitting there watching Tottenham because he ain't ever leaving that club because he's a serial loser, right? He will sit there and his grandkids will be sat there, "Oh, granddad, you played, oh, how good was you, granddad? Oh, yeah, I'm Tottenham's top goal scorer. I scored 350 goals because that's probably what he'll get by the end of his career, 400 goals. Oh, okay. So they're in the cup today, granddad. So did you ever win any cups? No, I didn't win anything, but I'm Tottenham's top goal scorer. Oh, what about for England, granddad? No, I didn't win anything. Like, get real. You say this all the time, right? The elites, the greats, the ones considered as great footballers, great strikers, great defenders, midfielders, etc. Yeah, they all win stuff. Yeah, this guy in the chat, big up João Pereira in the chat. Yeah, so Matt Letizia is irrelevant. Matt Letizia, yeah, 100% is one of the best footballers I've ever seen. Yeah, but he's won nothing, so he can't ever be considered to be one of the greatest footballers of all time and in that great list. If you're going to do a Premier League best 11, Matt Letizia don't come anywhere near it. But for me, technical ability is one of the best footballers I've ever seen.
You're bang on there. If Matt Letizia, this guy was an attacking midfielder, really. I don't know if they class him as a striker. He was an attacking midfielder. And this guy, like, if we go through like the pomp of his career from 1990 through like 24 goals, 23 goals, 15 goals, 18 goals, 25. In 1995 in the Premier League, he scored 30 goals. This was an attacking midfielder. These numbers are insane. His ability was out of this world. He was sublime to watch. And he had a long career. He had longevity. But we didn't see what he did under major pressure of having to win titles. And I was talking about this last night. And listen, I agree with you, by the way. His goals are amazing. His goals prove he's a brilliant footballer and he's a brilliant technician and he's got great output. But he doesn't have anything tangible to show for it. We haven't seen him perform regularly enough at the most pivotal moments of seasons, in title races, in semi-finals and in finals. We haven't seen that regularly enough for him to talk to legends. Now, he'll go down to be the same as Matt Letizia is. Matt Letizia is a Southampton legend. He'll probably eat in Southampton for free for the rest of his life. Harry Kane will be a Spurs legend forever already. He will. But being a Spurs legend doesn't equate football legend. If you want to be seen like a Henry, an Aguero, a Rooney, a Cantona, an Andy Cole, with the White York, a Ian Wright, a Drogba, All these
Zola,
players,
Bergkamp, Henry,
Zola,
could go
Bergkamp,
on and on.
the name, the list just goes on and on. Obviously, Haaland's coming in now and creating one for himself. You have to win those major trophies. You have to have those moments that led to major trophies. You have to have those memories that are played on forever. You absolutely need to be in that category. Now, Spurs fans don't need to agree with that to love him because he's your player. Of course, you're going to love him. But at the end of the day, you don't have the same level of standards that the Arsenal fans, United fans, Liverpool fans do. To be a Liverpool legend, do you know what you have to win, do, score, and achieve to become a legend at that football club based on their history? At Man United, like Rashford's got 4 trophies. He's already in the top 25 goal scorers. Yeah, he's already got. I think he's already in the top 20 to 25 goal scorers of our club's history. His goal scoring ratio, if he plays for another 8 years for us, he'll probably be in the top 3 goal scorers of all time. If he don't win Premier Leagues or Champions Leagues for us, he won't be a United legend. Fans won't have it. So I totally agree with you. When I say irrelevant, I think there's a relevance to them. They only become irrelevant if he doesn't win anything at the end of it. If he goes on to win the Euros for England, then there's something tangible to it. Imagine being the Premier League's all-time leading goal scorer without even having a man won't even have a community shield to his name. It's crazy. It's
do you know what's mad though, right? I rate Harry Kane. I think he's a top footballer.
No, I agree.
Like, his footballing IQ is insane. He's so talented, it is mad. Yeah, and he's an elite goal scorer as well. Like, consistently, he's very rarely injured. If you just read out his stats, yeah. But if you actually go through how many games he's played every season, he's not ever really had a long-term injury. He's always played 30 games, 29 games, 34 games, 37 games every season. So he's got the longevity with it as well, and he's smashing it with goals, and he is actually a sick footballer. The problem he's got is every time he comes up in a big pressure scenario, he bottles it. League Cup final, bottled it. Not World Cup final, fucking Euros final, bottled it. Champions League final, bottled it. Yeah, semi-final against France. The ball's still all bit in space. Like, every time he comes up in a big pressure scenario, he bottles it or ghosts. Yeah, and you can say, oh, yeah, but the rest of the team did it as well. Okay, yeah, that's great. But Matt Le Tissier played for Southampton, mate. Yeah, and no matter how crap they were, that guy was always a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week, and he always showed up. Yeah, but again, there wasn't any real pressure there. I get that. He should have played for England a lot more. But if you're the top boy at your football club, or you're the top boy of your nation, you have to be, no matter how crap your team or your country may be. Look at Gareth Bale for Wales. Gareth Bale single-handedly dragged them to a semi-final. Wales.
Well, this is the thing, right? People often ask, why do players from the bigger clubs, the top 6 clubs, get picked for England more than the smaller clubs? Because generally speaking, they're player at a higher intensity of pressure, and that mental fortitude is ignored by football fans because all we ever focus on is ability and or stats. Sometimes just stats, sometimes just ability, sometimes both. But you often don't think about the young lad who's doing brilliant at Brighton right now. He sounds like Matoma, and he's doing brilliantly. Oh, everyone's got to sign him. I think everyone should be watching him, but we haven't seen what he's like. We don't know what he's going to be up against low blocks in 85% of his games. We don't know how he's going to respond to having a Man United shirt or an Arsenal shirt or a City shirt on his back in terms of the pressure. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying don't just react after 3 or 4 good months. Scout him a little bit longer. Do more research.
Prime example.
Exactly. So I think with Harry Kane, look, I want him at United. I do want him at United because I do think if he's at a club where, and ironically, the pressure of Man United could completely consume him, but then it's also spread out because at Spurs, as soon as they get to a big game, it's all right, Harry Kane will save us. You shouldn't. That's how we killed Rooney with England. It should never be Rooney's going to win us the World Cup. It's going to be the team is going to win us the World Cup, and individuals perform within that. And I think Spurs fans have put too much pressure on him at the wrong moments. I think at Man United, Harry Kane, the pressure being spread amongst the Casemiros, the Rashford, the Brunos, I think he could handle that. And I've said in the group chat earlier today, I think Man United will win the Premier League and Champions League in the next 4 years. I think we'll win both in the next 4-year period with the direction we're going in. Come and join us and create a damn legacy for yourself, my friend, because right now, Vardy has a better career than you. Less goals, but I know Harry Kane, if you got him alone, injected him with a little bit of truth serum, you see in Marvel or something. What do you want? The goal record or a a Premier League trophy, and I'm talking just for all the idiots in the back, I'm talking about a Premier League trophy that he was integral and pivotal and an important player in winning, he would take that trophy, because that picture of him lifting the Premier League trophy becomes historic forever. The picture of him lifting the Golden Boot record in front of Spurs fans, no one will give a fuck about. No one will care about, because who talked? Alan Shearer had the record and the Prem. When is he getting discussed these days? He doesn't really.
Do you know what's mad? Neither does Andy Cole.
One.
Andy Cole don't ever get put in the discussion for one of the best strikers in the Premier League, and he currently holds the record with Shearer, 34 goals in a season.
Bro, do you know what's really crazy? One of the hot takes I was gonna put up for you today stems from this. I was told yesterday that Paul Scholes is overrated. That was it.
Oh,
so Paul,
was it a TikToker?
No, it was a YouTuber. He said Paul Scholes overrated. And I got into a little thread with him, and he has in his bio, it's Husam, by the way, that he's undefeated in football debates. And when I say I gave him a headshot dead.
What, Liverpool Husam?
Yeah, headshot dead last night, right? So he said he just said Scholes overrated. And I basically pointed out that he was integral in winning 25 trophies over 19 years. And he said to me that he wasn't pivotal or integral to Man United. He was simply a cog in Man United's wheel, that he wasn't important. And I said, of course he was important, and gave him the reason. And he said, well, if he was so important, why didn't he win the Player of the Year award at Liverpool? At Man United, sorry. I said, well, loads of great players, Andy Cole being one of them, Dennis Irwin, Van der Sar, Rio Ferdinand, Michael Carrick, none of them won Player of the Year. Does that mean they weren't important to Man United achieving all the great things they did? And he basically kind of went on to say those players are all recognized. Paul Scholes was not. Which I responded with, well, if Paul Scholes isn't recognized, then he can't be overrated. And this is it. Like,
and it was at that point he knew he fucked up.
It was one of these things. But the hot take that came out of it, someone said this: ignoring the roles, Scholes is a great player, but it's different operating when it comes to these two things. He never was and never had been the best player in his team. But this guy was arguing why Gerrard was better. And all I said back to him was, Xavi and Iniesta were not better than Messi. Does that mean Gerrard was better because he was the best at Liverpool? That's how crazy football takes are getting at the moment. You're seeing fans. I'm seeing fans say, if you're not the best the best player in your team, you can't be better than the best player at another club. I'm seeing fans say, and this goes back to the Harry Kane points, why I brought it up, that not winning trophies, not delivering in finals, not delivering in semis, not delivering in title run-ins, suddenly that's unimportant in football. It is honestly staggering to see the level of depravity that fans are dropping to. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but the more outlandish they take, the more reaction they'll get. That's it. Like that's why I said, if it's at TikTok, I'm surprised at Husam because he actually does talk a lot of sense. Yeah, but Paul Scholes is one of the best footballers you'll ever see in the Premier League era. That ain't even up for debate. Yeah, and the reason that Fergie played him and he had such a long career at Man United. Look all the players Fergie's brought in the time he was at Man United and how long Scholes played first team football at that football club. One of the greatest manager I've ever seen in my lifetime. Yeah, Ancelotti and Fergie, yeah, are two of the greats. Jose's up there as well, but we've been blessed in this area. But for me, Fergie's the best manager in my lifetime. And the fact that Fergie played him week in, week out, and then when you listen to Roy Keane or you listen to Giggsy and you listen to the other greats of that team, who was the best player in that team? They all say Scholes. Every single one of them says Scholes.
This is the thing with it, right? His logic is he wasn't even rated by his own fan base as the best player at the time. Other people won the awards. He wasn't rated as the best player at the club. So how can he be compared to Steven Gerrard? And my example is this. It's like the film Striptease with Demi Moore. When you first watch that film, the first 20 minutes, you can't help but see nipples. All you see everywhere is nipples, and you just think nipples everywhere. After about half an hour, you stop. After half an hour, you stop seeing the nipples because you just get used to the fact that everybody's naked in that film. That's what Paul Scholes is. I'm not saying he's a nipple. I'm simply stating that there was so much quality in that Man United team that Paul Scholes blended in.
Do you know another great? You've just hit the nail on the head. Do you know another player? Right? This is at Arsenal in that kind of era as well, that never really gets mentioned as a top player is Gilberto Silva. Yeah, that guy never gets put in the debate for DM best ever in the Premier League era. Never gets put in the debate. But you know what? You go and ask all the players that played in that team, they say he was unreal. Like, without him, we wouldn't have won so much.
Bro, when you have great teams, there are players that get left behind. And Dom Husam, he done himself today, and he doesn't even know he's done himself, because I quote tweeted him saying irony, and he asked me what was ironic about his tweet. But he tweeted and said, Mo Flower deserves a more grateful fan base, and will only get his flowers when he moves on and people realize he is special. And I just quote to it saying the irony. He still doesn't understand what irony means, I don't think, because you're saying Scholes isn't great because his fans didn't rate him, but you're angry that Liverpool fans don't appreciate the greatness of Mo Salah. So you can see there's a great player at Liverpool who hasn't in his time been lauded as the best. When they were at their pomp, Trent and Henderson, Van Dijk, Alisson, Mane were all heralded as star components. He was good. He wasn't the star boy. He wasn't the guy that everybody looked at and went, he's our main guy. And you're angry about it. But in the same breath, you're stating that Scholes can't be great because he kind of got the same treatment. He was never Man United fans' poster boy. And the reason he wasn't the poster boy is because he just wasn't that kind of character, that type of individual. But yeah, the takes I see from people these days, the disrespect that goes towards legendary football figures in the game is unbelievable. At the same time, the media don't defend them, and they're defending the status of someone like Harry Kane, who hasn't achieved a speckle compared to a Gilberto Silva, compared to a Mo Salah, compared to a Paul Scholes. He's not even in the same conversation as Premier League legends as those individuals, because he hasn't delivered at the highest level. So yeah, it's an absolute crazy.
I've just found the Fergie quote.
Crazy.
Yeah, I found the Fergie quote. I think Paul Scholes is the best player in England. He's got the best skills, the best brain. No one can match him. Glenn Hoddle also said there isn't a player of his mould anywhere in the world. Terry Venables is the best 1-2 touch passer in the country. Yeah, he sees the game unlike any other player. Shearer said, if you ask any footballers to pick out a player they most admire, most of them will pick Paul Scholes. Cristiano Ronaldo. We're talking about some of the greats here. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo said Scholes is the best player I've ever played with. Yeah, and he's helped me a lot when I was young. He's amazing. Like we're talking like
Lionel Messi
have achieved and won everything.
This is what's crazy. Lionel Messi said that when you're growing up through the Barca Academy, it's called, is it La Mesa?
La Masia.
La Masia, sorry, I'm terrible with pronouncing.
My Spanish is great now, Tel.
You live there. It said that his name was mentioned a lot when they were teaching people. Yes, they would show young kids the Barca greats and the Dutch greats, because their system is obviously based on that. But Paul Scholes' footage has been used for decades now at Barcelona's training ground to teach people about controlling the ball, controlling the tempo. It's actually crazy. But you know the biggest faux pas the Liverpool fans have made with this debate is Husam, in fairness to him, goes down the line of Ballon d'Or nominations, Player of the Year awards as to why he thinks Gerrard's better, but always focuses heavily on the stats as well. But most Liverpool fans always send me the stats of Gerrard versus Scholes. And I did a little research today. Per game played, Bruno Fernandes has more goal and assists per game than Gerrard does in his career. And if he keeps tracking like this for the next 2 seasons, Bruno Fernandes will surpass the amount of goals and the amount of assists that Gerrard had. Then Liverpool fans better hope that this man don't win a Premier League and or a Champions League, because then based on their own logic, Bruno's better than Gerrard. And this is the problem with fans now. They want to win every debate. They want their players to always be on top. And what you end up doing is creating narratives that will see your legends toppled, and go further down the pecking order. And I'm just biding my time. They did it as well. They used to say trophies don't matter. And then people would put some real serious evidence forward as to why Reece James is better.
There we go. Even Xavi. Yeah, I've just found a load more quotes, right? Xavi, for me, he's the best midfielder I've ever seen in the last 20 years. Yeah, that was when he was playing, yeah? Well, when Xavi was playing. Thierry Henry, I can't understand why Scholes has never won Player of the Year award. Yeah, he should have won it long ago. Maybe it's because he doesn't seek the limelight like some of the other stars. Wayne Rooney, Scholes, he was brilliant. Yeah, the things he could do with a ball. He obviously weren't the quickest, but he was so sharp you couldn't get near him. Yeah, David Beckham, obviously Cesc Fabregas, another great. Yeah, is the one whose level I aspire to. Yeah, he's the best player in the Premier League. Roy Keane. I won't name the Man United players, so obviously they're going to back him, yeah? Pep Guardiola. Out of everyone at Manchester United, I would pick Scholes. Best midfielder of a generation. Yeah, I would have loved to have played alongside him. Yeah, Laurent Blanc. I'll tell anyone who asks, Scholes is the best English player ever. Yeah, Patrick Vieira. Best player in the Premiership, Paul Scholes. Yeah, Ronaldinho. I want to pass like him. Who taught him to do that? Mate, I could go on and on and on. Even Bruno Fernandes has said this, by the way. Luis Figo, Edgar Davids, Sir Bobby Charlton.
Let me read you this quote. Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes. Wow. Also different. I don't really like speaking about this subject to be disrespectful. Lampard was ruthless in terms of numbers. Arriving into the box, he was top. But in terms of controlling the game and a natural top footballer, I'd go with Paul Scholes as being the best in this debate. They are all very different, all top players in different ways. But to be spoke about in the same breath of them for me is good enough. That was Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard himself said, and by the way, I'm not. The debate wasn't that he's better than these guys. The debate was, is Scholes overrated? And this is what I would say to Liverpool fans that do this. If you sat down in front of your biggest legend, Gerrard, and said Scholes is overrated, your legend would laugh in your face. So don't embarrass yourself and embarrass your club. Super chat here, sorry, says Carlo has 6 league titles in his career, 1 league title in 8 years with Milan, more third place finishes than league titles, managed Real Madrid, PSG, Chelsea, Milan. But he does have 4 Champions Leagues as well.
And many cups.
And amazing
cups. He's won in 5 different countries.
Yeah. This here from Joshua Jack says, I disagree, Terry. If he walks through the door, he will have all the pressure because he will be looked at as the missing piece to winning the title. About Harry Kane, yeah, he may be, but for me, I think between him and Man United, they could create they would be able to create a winning bond. I think he'll help Man United win Premier League titles and Champions League.
Can I just read this comment out very quickly?
Of course you can, mate.
Where is it? Salah is now our greatest, Terry, says Norat 180. Yeah. Salah is nowhere near your greatest ever player, mate. You're a Liverpool fan and you're saying Salah.
I think Premier League player, I think he's one of their best, yeah.
Nah. Suarez is better than him. Yeah. Michael Owen was better than him. Robbie Fowler was better than him. Yeah. And that's just talking strikers. Yeah, we could go to midfielders, we could go to centre backs, and we could go before Premier League as well. Yeah, mate, he ain't even in the top 10 best ever Liverpool players. Nowhere near, mate. Torres, Owen, and Suarez are clear. Gerrard's clear. Yeah, there's 4. Fowler, there's 5. Like, come on, like really.
Hang on, but those guys didn't deliver what Salah's done. So you were saying earlier, like Kane can't be what he is with no trophies, but Salah's delivered more trophies than for Liverpool.
Hey, Gerrard delivered the Champions League.
Yeah, but Salah's delivered a Champions League and a Premier League. Their first Premier League in 30 years. That's
okay,
why.
That's great. But now,
technically, I agree with you. I think some of those players technically are better than Mo Salah. But Mo Salah, in terms of his consistency of performance, consistency of outputs, and what he has led Liverpool to win in the last 5 to 6 years, it easily puts him in the top 2, top 3 Premier League stars of Liverpool that they've had in the Premier League era, at least.
Before the Premier League, Terry.
But I'm not. But I don't like to challenge the legendary status of players that I didn't watch play because I wasn't born.
Hold on. Stop right there. So on that basis, then, are we not claiming any trophies before the Premier League to talk about Liverpool being a big club? Then
that isn't the conversation. I just said in terms of the Premier League era. In terms of their entire history, he definitely isn't one of their top legends because of all the players. But the players you mentioned are all Premier League era. What I'm saying is the Dalglish's of this world and Ian Rush's and Souness's,
Graham Souness,
Alan Hansen. These guys,
Mark Lawrenson, top players.
Sorry, let me just finish my point. Sorry. Liverpool fans will state who their top people are. I'm only talking about this Premier League era because I've witnessed it and seen it, right? Because I don't know exactly who the best. I know Dalglish is probably their best player in that era, as an example. But in terms of Premier League era, Mo Salah's got to be one of their greats. He has to be, and I think he's the highest Champions League goal scorer of all time. I think he probably sits in the top 10 to 15 Liverpool legends of all time. According to Liverpool fans, I think they put him in there. I really do.
No, not well. Listen, Liverpool fans know the club better than I do, but nah. Yeah, and if we're going by this whole recency bias, yeah, maybe some Liverpool fans that are in this chat need to go and research the club's history. Yeah, because when you see Graham Souness sat on Sky Sports on Sunday, on Super Sunday, it come up with all of his record underneath. Yeah, that's the levels, mate. That's the levels. Yeah, Ian Rush, another one, top player. John Barnes, top player. Like, we're talking top players that have won everything. Emlyn Hughes, there you go. Georgie knows. Top players. And this whole Premier League era, right, football started before the Premier League, Terry.
I totally understand that, and I understand that completely. But I think you can, like, sort of compartmentalize elements of conversation and debate because of when you were born, when you're alive, post this, post that. But again, when it comes to overall era, he's definitely not in their top 5 because they've had so many. But no one from the Premier League era at Liverpool can be in their top 5. I even think the way that Liverpool fans laud Gerrard as their best, it doesn't make sense to me when they had players that were achieving more than him in previous. That's for them to
make
explain
sense
why.
to me because they don't go and research these players because they ain't interested in these players because it's all about what's going on now and this era. Like, I can't rate Maradona above Messi because I see Maradona when he was smashed off his face coming towards the end of his career. I didn't, but if I speak to my old man, he'll say him and George Best were easily the best 2 players on the planet. Yeah, but I never see him. So I would always rate Messi above Maradona. So I kind of get it. But at the same time, I also know how great Maradona was.
When it's your club, you're not Argentinian. You haven't got a duty to go and research that. But if you're a Liverpool fan, you don't research your history. It's crazy to me. We're going to move the subject on to another hot take. But this super chat here says, "Big up, lads. Best 5 Arsenal players since 2010." What are you saying to that?
Alexis Sanchez, definitely. Yep. Van Persie. Cesc. I'm not putting these in order, by the way, but Sanchez is top.
Love Van Persie.
Yeah, but Cesc, Van Persie, Sanchez top.
Saka.
Everyone's going to be wanting me to put Ozil in there, and it ain't happening. That guy was a fraud.
Saka. Ozil's a fraud.
He cost Arsenal 153 million quid for a couple of no-look passes. Who gives a shit? Like, come on. Yeah, like, really? Nah, not for me, mate. Santi Cazorla.
Count.
One more. We need one more.
Odegaard.
Oh, do me a favour. Like, come on, do me a favour. Seriously, do me a favour, Terry.
If you win a Premier League this year, based on your own logic, he has to, because none of the guys you mentioned won you a Premier League.
These people in the chat obviously don't watch what I'm saying. I put him in a team of the season yesterday on the show with Henry. Or Saeed, sorry. Yeah, we did team of the season. I had 4 Arsenal players in it. Straight in.
Only 4? Only 4?
Yeah. What do you mean only 4?
Only 4, Lee?
Do you want to go through a team of the season real quick? Because I'll reel off what I put in there.
Go on. What is your team of the season?
I went Raya, the goalkeeper at Brentford. Yeah, it was him or Leno for goalkeeper of the season. Now, I've seen team of the seasons over this international period where people are putting Alisson in goal. Why? Alisson. Are you mad? But anyway, right back, Ben White. Centre back. This is mine and Saeed's team that we did yesterday, yeah? It's not my full 11. Yeah, but Ben White right back, for me, has been the best right back in the league. Centre back, he put Lisandro Martinez and Gabriel Magalhaes. I went with that. I would have personally gone with Botman, yeah, and Gabriel. Left back, we went with... Who did we got left back?
Zinchenko.
No, it was someone else. I can't remember who we did at left back. The chat that was watching, maybe somebody knows. Can't remember who we put at left back. Midfield, we went with Partey and Casemiro. Yeah, then Odegaard. Then Rashford, Haaland, Saka.
That's fair, to be fair.
Nathan Ake, thank you. That's who we put at left back. Nathan Ake. What's wrong with that team?
I would change Ake for Zinchenko. And I know he hasn't a traditional left back, but I think he's been out of this world. Out of that, but barring that,
one can defend, one can't.
Yeah, I get that.
There you go then.
I get your point on that, but all I would change in that would be Zinchenko for Ake, and I'd actually agree with that team 100%. To be fair, so I take back my comment.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
See, my ball knowledge ain't in the gutter, is it?
No, it's because you had Saeed holding your hand, though. That's why, bro.
No, to be fair, I would have put Botman in at centre back, yeah, and I would have made a case for Ivan Toney at striker as well. But when you've scored 28
Uh,
goals in
you
26
can't,
league games, you
yeah,
have to put
Haaland.
him in, innit?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you've
but
got to. I'm glad Rashi's in there as well. And
but yeah,
it
mate, I
yeah.
said this, and I was on Saeed's channel, so it weren't like I was sat on my channel and it was my audience. It was Man United, and I said, "Yo, Rashford straight in. Yeah, you can't knock the amount of goals he scored and the performances he's had."
We did a show yesterday, and I put the top four names up, who are the bookies' top 4 favorites to win the Player of the Year. And the reaction was like, "Why is Rashford in there?" And I'm like, "There's only 2 players in the whole of Europe that have scored and assisted more goals than him this year. He's gone on a run that's led to us winning trophies. He scored in finals.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to be. Of course he's going to be on that list. Like, it's impossible for him not to be. But he's not going to be.
There's a case for the boy at Fulham as well, Paulinho. Or
Paulina.
Yeah,
He's been
it
great.
was close, but you can't not put Thomas Partey and Casemiro in there.
Yeah, because they're doing it at the highest end of the spectrum. I think he'll get a move this summer. He really will. But
the goalkeeper at Brentford and Leno at Fulham, the reason, or part of the reason they're both flying this season is because of them goalkeepers. Yeah, and I don't really rate the keeper, or both of them, I don't really rate very highly. But you have to look at their appearances and say, yo, they've kept them in games at times, like big saves at key times. And that's part of the reason they're doing so great. But other than that, other than what you changed, it's spot on.
I totally. It's a really good team, to be fair. It is. Football's back this weekend. We're on to the Arsenal chat now. Of course, Lee is an Arsenal fan. Thomas Partey reportedly, like I saw you say earlier to me, you were the first person that told me that he could be out injured. I then read a report from one of your favorite people in the whole world, Charles Watts. And Charles Watts said that he's going to be assessed today when he gets back. They're very hopeful it's not a hamstring, but they're not sure whether he'll play this weekend. What's your take? Do you think he's going to be out injured, or do you think he'll play?
Well, Charles Watts also said that Arsenal were assessing Saliba the day that he walks off the pitch against Sporting Lisbon, and we still ain't heard an update, have we? Yeah, and how many weeks ago was that? So, I'll take anything that guy says with a pinch of salt, personally. But I was more surprised that Chris Hughton is the Ghana manager. I never knew that. I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know. I'm standing there, I'm seeing somebody sent me a clip, and I was like, why has he sent me a Chris Hughton interview? Yeah, and then I was like, but yeah, he was on the bench last night for Ghana. So, and a mate of mine said to me, well, it can't be that bad because he was on the bench. And I said, well, maybe they're all flying different times. Maybe it was just stay with the camp. Maybe they had to name a certain amount of subs. I don't know. Yeah, but when you're hearing, oh, he weren't 100%, he felt something, we kept him, we didn't want to play him, kept him on the bench, there's a problem there. Yeah, and I hope, fingers crossed, that, listen, if he has got something that's niggling, don't play him at the weekend. Do not play him at the weekend. Yeah, please do. If he's got something that's like, even if he's only 10%, like 90% fit, don't play him. Yeah, because if you do play him, he could then be out for weeks and weeks and weeks if he pulls something. So just let him get back to full fitness, then play him. Yeah, and listen, we should beat Leeds with or without him. Let's be real with it. They're not very good. Yeah, and off of the back of our last few performances, we've smashed Palace and Fulham. So I'm kind of confident with or without him. Yeah, but if he's not even 100, if he's 99.9% fit, don't play him. Yeah, he has to be 100 because we've got some big games coming up. We've got Liverpool coming up after Leeds. We've got Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea coming up. Got some big games. And if we go into them big games without Thomas Partey, then nah. Yeah, Leeds, cool. I think we can get away with playing Leeds without Thomas Partey. Yeah, William Saliba, maybe as well. Yeah, get through that and then get them both back for the Liverpool game. But this is why I get the ump with international games. It winds me up. Why don't you just do the season? Yeah, play the season and get all the games done by May, and then go and do, or middle of May or something, and then go and do all the international games in a 6-week period. Yeah, for all the competitions. Just go and get them done. Then they still get 6, 7, 8 weeks off. Then they can come back to pre-season. Then they can go again. Because you're losing players during crucial parts of the season. Yeah, and cool, I understand that if you do that in the summer, June, July, or whatever, you're going to lose them for the start of the season. But at least you'll know in advance. Yeah, whereas when you're in the middle of a season, you can't go and replace them. You can't go and replace Thomas Partey. How are we going to go and replace Thomas Partey now? We can't. Yeah, whereas if we've got time and the window's open, the transfer window's open, they play these internationals June, July, you've now make a decision, right, well, he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Let's go and buy someone. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I hate international football. It's crap.
Yeah, I mean, were you one of the Arsenal fans who was fuming at the weekend with the tackle from Rodri and Odegaard? Because Gooners were fuming about that.
I know, mad, didn't it? It's soft, didn't they? Like, if that was the other way round, they'd all be jumping for joy, getting the party poppers out and the bunting, having street parties. Oh, look, he snapped Rodri. Who cares? It's a man's game, mate. Like, are we allowed to say that? Like, it's like, I know Souness was getting in trouble for it, wasn't he?
Well, the game that Odegaard and Partey play is men only. So, yes, it is.
Rodri, but yes.
Rodri, sorry.
But at the same time, I've seen this theory. Oh, look, Haaland went to... And he got, and Pep said, bring him back. And then he told him to snap it. Get in the bin, man. All the mental gymnastics in these kids' heads is mad. Yeah,
I get being angry about it, but you are right. If it was the other way around, there would be celebrations.
And then I see a video you did where a girl was sitting there, and you said exactly what I was thinking. You said, sometimes I sit there and think, what's his point?
Yeah.
But then he just went, yeah, now Tierney's, I didn't expect that, by the way. And now Tierney's going to get, Tierney ain't getting no one. Yeah, Tierney's not a dirty player like that, man. Tierney's a top player. He ain't a dirty player. Rodri just mistimed the tackle. Maybe he had one eye on Odegaard and thought maybe, I don't know. Only he knows that. Yeah, but it weren't premeditated. And to say Pep told him to do it, get in the bin. That's like the gymnastics going around in their head is like mad.
No, it did make me laugh. It did make me laugh. Like when people just like, yeah, it was premeditated. It was part of the. Like I was waiting for like there to be a bad tackle on Saka the other night, and then for people to be like, he's been on the phone to the team and they offered to pay him money. Like I really thought it was going to get that kind of.
Fair, it should have been a penalty. It was nailed on penalty. I don't know how they didn't give that.
It was a foul. I mean, it was a foul. There's no doubt. But for me, it was a bad foul, and I get being angry at the tackle. It was just a bad tackle. He wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Odegaard weren't even that upset about it. It weren't like he was milking it and rolling and doing 7 roly-polies. He was just on his knees, holding his ankle, saying, "Ref, why ain't that a pen? Like, get in the bin."
No,
these people are more offended by a tackle on Odegaard than Odegaard was. Like, why are you offended on Odegaard's behalf?
I get that.
What's the matter with these people?
So, if you do have Thomas Partey out this weekend, though, you comfortable you'll beat Leeds still without him?
Yeah, I think so. I watched the game against Wolves. They were pretty good against Wolves, but Wolves are trash, man. Like, they're so crap. But the thing with Leeds is they're 100 mile an hour hustle and bustle. They've still got that kind of little bit of Bielsa DNA where they're group pressing and team pressing, and then like. But the thing with Leeds, which is why you've spanked them 5-0 and 6 something. I think you spanked them in the same season or whatever it was. Yeah, over 2 seasons. But they will press you so high. All you got to do is one diagonal ball over the top and you're clean through. Yeah, and I think that even if we play Jorginho, Xhaka and Odegaard in midfield, I think we're too good for them. Yeah, because I think defensively, even if Holding's there, I don't see how they're going to trouble us. I really don't. Nonto or Noto or whatever his name is, I think he's done his ankle. And I'm not sure whether he's fit. Yeah, but even if he's fit, like another hipsters player at the minute, like, 19 years old. Why are these people fascinated with teenagers? Go and get players that can win. Like, if we sign Nonto here, is he going to win us a Champions League? Like, come on. Like, go and sign ready-made players. We've got the youth. Now go and get some experience. But that's a different subject. But my point is, even if they've got their full-strength team and we ain't, we're beating them comfortable. If the best hope Leeds have of beating Arsenal is if they score in the first 20 minutes and then they just park the bus and make it stinky. But if we score in the first 20, 25 minutes, we'll batter them. 3, 4, 5. Even without Partey.
Yeah, I think you'll smash Leeds this weekend. You've got the game before it, so you'll know. I don't think you'll feel any more pressure if City win. I don't think you feel more pressure. I think City slip up this weekend against Liverpool. I think they're going to drop points. I think it's going to be a draw, and I think you smash Leeds United. You extend your lead at the top, and then it's almost the best appetizer for the home straight of the season that we could have. And, you know, that isn't hope. That's genuinely what I believe is going to happen. That isn't me just sort of projecting feelings. But I believe that Arsenal, with or without Partey, will beat Leeds United this weekend. And you're home to them. Look, they gave United a little bit of a torrid time in our games against them. But we still came through the 2 back-to-back matches with 4 points out of 6. You're better than we are. The crowd is going to be electric. And I do believe the crowd and the noise around it makes a huge difference at times. And there's a confidence back at your club. You're over your wobble now. And I just think that you guys are going to come back. Saka's new deal is probably going to be announced in and around that, which we'll get onto in a minute. But yeah, I can't look beyond Arsenal. And I think you're going to extend your lead at the top. And right at the right time, because your next game then is away to Liverpool. And that's a
and
hard
you know what's
game.
key
That's a
about
hard
that is
game.
they've got Chelsea in midweek. Liverpool. They've got City, Chelsea away, both of them away.
Ooh.
Then they've got us. Yeah. So by the time Man City and Chelsea are giving the run around, they'll be knackered.
And listen,
That's the best chance we have to go to Anfield and win that we've had in a decade, mate.
And I want you to end their season because obviously people think I want you to go there and win for you lot. And it's for me. It's for me. I want you to win the league for me.
I wonder if Arteta will be playing Never Walk Alone at the training ground again.
Jurgen
I tell, I'm going to go toilet quickly, yeah?
No,
I've been holding it for ages.
No worries. Viewers, make sure you're hitting like and share buttons. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Terry praying, lol. City will beat Liverpool. I think Liverpool ain't great. They're not, but I think they might get a draw in this game. Of course we're praying. If you're a Man United fan and you don't want City to not win the league, if you want City to win the league over Arsenal, I'm challenging your support of Man United. How could you want a team to equal a three-peat, have the potential of winning a treble, and then next year have the opportunity to go 4 on the bounce? That's a weird 4, Terry. That's a 4. Why would you want that? That surpasses our records. Our records are historic, which make us the most successful club in the Premier League era, which make us the biggest club in England. You've got to protect your history because your history is what makes you the size you are. You then need to push to continue making history. You got to protect it at the same time. If you're a Man United fan and you are hoping that City win this league title, you're mental. The only way it may change is if they go out the FA Cup and go out the Champions League, so they can't do a treble. And if you're confident they won't do a 4-peat. But for me, I'm desperate. I am desperate for City to not win this league title. I promise you that I am. But yeah, Liverpool away will be an interesting one because Liverpool still have turned up a few times this year against big teams. Are you confident you'll win both those games back to back? You said the other day you think you're going to win all your games, right?
No.
Well, that's how KJ titled the video.
Well, I'm used to you clickbaiting titles about me, Terry. So Lee got cooked.
I don't clickbait. I make attractive headlines. I create attractive headlines. I don't clickbait. The same as, you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. You know, there's no such thing as road sweepers anymore or bin men. They're called environmental hygienists.
I'm going to get that geezer on the motorbike with the crash helmet, yeah, the rogue traders, you know, the guy. I'm going to get him to rock up at your gaff, mate. Yeah. No, I do actually think we'll lose one game. Which one of my houses?
Which one of my houses?
Which one of my houses? I do think we'll lose one game. And I wouldn't put it past it being the City game, if I'm honest. But we've got a terrible record at the Etihad and at Anfield. Anfield, last time we won was, 9 years ago, 10 years ago? Like, it's shambolic, our record there. But this is the best opportunity we have to go and beat them. And the fact that they have City and they're going to want to beat City just to show them a little bit of, yeah, okay, we might be down this season, but we're coming for you next season type of thing. But you never know. Man City might just roll them over and cane them 5-0. But they have Chelsea as well. So that, for me, is giving me more confidence because they play City, 3 days later Chelsea, 3 days later Arsenal, or 4 days later Arsenal. So they've got 3 big games in 8 days. And it's like, for us, we've got Leeds United and then we've got a week off. So I'm kind of confident. But I don't know, man. Like, mate, every time I've been to Anfield personally and watched the game live, I've never seen us get anything there. I've seen us get absolutely hammered. That goal where Salah run the whole length of the pitch, where Bellerin was trying to do Cruyff turns on the edge of their penalty box, and he just run. Yeah, like when Lacazette, we signed Lacazette and Kolasinac, like, and they were both on the bench. Yeah, and it was like we were 3-0 down, I think, real quick. Yeah, and like for 25 minutes straight. This is toxic and negative, people. Yeah, just give me an insight of an away game when you're getting hammered by Liverpool at Anfield. We're effing shit, like non-stop for 25 minutes from the away fans. 4,000 Arsenal fans singing that non-stop. Yeah, get Wenger out. Yeah, then it was the sarcasm chants. Oh, we're going to win the league. We're going to win the league. Yeah, people reckon I'm toxic. Go to an away game, mate, when you're getting pammed at Anfield. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I think we look kind of different, man. And I think every single, like, and this is the thing. When I was doing this the other day on a video, I was like, who are Arsenal's top 3 players of the season? Like, it's difficult. Like, for me, Saka, Partey, Ben White. But then there's a case for Odegaard. There's a case for Zinchenko. There's a case for Saliba and Gabriel. There's a case for Martinelli. Like, and that Ramsdale. Like, there's a case for everyone, and that is something we haven't had for a long time, which is why I'm confident, because every single player at some point has been insane. Yeah, and over the course of the season, we're top for a reason, Terry, because we've been the most consistent, and we've leveled up, and we've took advantage most of the times when we've needed to. Like when City have dropped points, bang, or we've put the pressure on them, and then they've dropped points, like at Nottingham Forest. So yeah, I'm kind of confident. We beat Tottenham away for the first time in 9 years, 10 years, whatever it was. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, look, I think I don't know about beating City just yet. I think it depends on the results leading up to it in relation to, I think if they drop points against Liverpool, maybe one more game and you win everything, and you've already got an 8, 9, 10, 11 point lead, I think you'll beat them, because I just think there'll be a feeling of defeat at that point. But you could lose that game, but I think you're going to pick up more. I think you're going to extend your lead before it. I think they may take points away from you, but then you go into that home straight. The interesting thing is you play City and Chelsea. So
back to back.
City, Chelsea, Newcastle away, and then at home to Brighton in a run of 4, which is such an amazing run of games. That's why I think you've got to win your next 4.
Do you know what's crazy about it, though, right? This is how fine the margins are, right? Because they got a game in hand. If they win that against West Ham, which they probably will, 5 points. If we lose at Anfield, which we do every year, and they win their game that weekend, it's now 2 points. We then play them at the Etihad, and they beat us every year. They're now above us, and that is how fine the margins are. Yeah, it's like you have to say they're going to win their game in hand. It's West Ham. Yeah, you just put money on them to beat West Ham, right? But them 2 games, Anfield and the Etihad, we have to come out of there with saying, yeah, we have to get at least 3 points. Yeah, I don't care what game it is, we have to get 3 points. But wouldn't it be nice to go into that game at the Etihad being like 8 points clear, them still in the Champions League? And do you know what? They're lucky bastards they are. Right? I'll say they're lucky. They're a very good team. But they've got Bayern Munich second leg on the 19th of April. 23rd, they got Sheffield United, which means they can rest all of their players, the top players, and then 3 days later, they got Arsenal. So I don't know, but it depends. If they're still in the Champions League and they're
it's a little bit nice.
Yeah, but if they're in the cup final and they're in the next leg of the semi-final of the Champions League, maybe if we're 5, 6, 7 points clear and they've played their game in hand, maybe they might look at that and think, okay, we'll go for Champions League. That's what I'm hoping anyway. You don't win the league by luck, mate. If we win it, we've done it.
No, nobody does. This here from Dan says, I think City will beat us just because we don't have a plan B. We won't be going into the game trying to be defensive. I hope Arteta plays for a draw, is what Gunnar Dan says. I kind of get what you mean by that. You need to be defensively resolute. But you didn't think about it about the Emirates game. It was 2 catastrophic mistakes, which have been fairly uncharacteristic with this season.
Pressure.
So, yeah, it's again, and if you go into
pressure of playing Man City, knowing that they're the best team and they've got the best squad, the best manager, and we're above them and we're trying to fight for a title with them, the pressure. That's why Harry Kane bottled his penalty and put it over the bar against France. Pressure. I have to score this penalty. I have to score this penalty. Pressure. Yeah, we have to beat City. We have to play well. Pressure. Yeah, and mate, we haven't bottled it a lot this season. We did it at Old Trafford. I was so pissed off about that game at Old Trafford. Yeah, because as soon as we got back in that game, he should have sat back 10 yards. Yeah, made a sub straight away. Yeah, instead he played that stupid high line, and by the time he made the subs, game over. Yeah, but at the same time, pressure, mate, it does affect people, man. And Tomiyasu, he's out for the season now. He's injured. So, listen, Ben White's been brilliant. I think him and Trippier have been the best 2 right-backs in the league this season. Rashford, Man City, yeah, we're going to be up against, Foden or Grealish? Probably Grealish. I think Foden had his appendix done, didn't he? So
Grealish, no issue.
Oh, shut up, man. You and your Grealish agenda.
No output. He's just going to sit on the side, doing some step overs and some foot drags, and then giving the ball to somebody else. Don't worry about it.
Knowledge.
He's going to do nothing. He'll do nothing.
He scored against you this season, a header. How did you let that happen?
But you said goals that lead to nothing, i.e. not wins, are irrelevant.
Yeah.
So it was an irrelevant goal.
The season's not done yet.
It
doesn't matter. Might win the treble.
But that goal against us in that game was irrelevant. That didn't help them. They lost that game. I don't think Grealish isn't one to worry about. Haaland is one to worry about controlling.
Do you know what? Do you know what? You say that, yeah, but I'm not really that concerned about him. Yeah, because if he wants to go physical, yeah, and he wants a foot race, well, Saliba can keep up with him.
Oh,
Yeah, because Saliba's rapid. Yeah, but it's his movement, and that's where I worry is his movement. But if you stop it at source and you stop Mahrez, Foden, Grealish, whoever it may be playing, Kevin De Bruyne, getting that ball into him, happy days. Yeah, you have to stop it at source, because if you look at the games where he's not scored goals this season, what have they done? They've stopped it at source, and you have to swarm Kevin De Bruyne, or as soon as the ball goes to Mahrez, straight on him, make him play it back to the right back. Yeah, and then go back the other way, and then shuffle over. Yeah, and he can be stopped.
Listen, I'm only playing to a degree with Jack Grealish. I know he scored against Arsenal. I know he scored against United, but I don't see him. I just don't. When I watch him play, he's a good player. I don't see him as threatening as Riyad Mahrez when he's in song. I don't see him as threatening as Phil Foden. I see him nowhere near as effective. As threatening as KDB, and I definitely don't see him as effective or as threatening as Erling Haaland. Haaland's the one you've got to look out for. He really, really is. He's so pivotal to how they play. But at the same time, you know, your game against City is all going to come down to the points total before you go into it. If you've lost the game, let's say you draw with Leeds and lose to Liverpool, and they win those 2 games subsequently, win their game in hand, and there's a 2-point gap, I think they'll definitely beat you. I really do. If you go into it with a 5, with an 8, with a 9, with a 10-point gap, there's a different mentality that you'll have. They will be overreaching. They will be overextending.
Yeah, they'll be panicking.
You have to win. And that's the difference in this. It's hard to predict the City game until it's about to be played, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, because it's a month away. Yeah, in between them, we've got Southampton, I think we've got West Ham, with Liverpool, we've got Leeds, we've got 4 games before we play them, Terry. Yeah, we have to win at least 3 of them. Yeah, at least 3 of them, and not, we can't lose at Anfield. I do not want to lose at Anfield. I'm sick of losing there.
I hope you lose 7-0. It's 8-0, and then our result will be forgotten. Then
no. We've been through our banter era, mate. That ain't coming back anytime soon.
we're past ours, but it happened post banter era. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, but yeah, no. Listen, it's going to be very intriguing. Obviously, Saka signed his new deal. It's caused a lot of outrage online today. And when I say outrage for Saka's new deal, I mean it from the point of view of the media are lying about his salary. He is on it's going to be 200 grand a week, and it's going to be increased to 300,000 with win, goal bonuses, and trophy bonuses. It will equal out to about 300 grand a week if he's scoring, if you're winning, if you're achieving trophies. And I'm just flabbergasted at the media that are increasing it as a base level. And by the way, 200 grand a week is a lot of money, but it's not as much as 300 grand a week. The way they lie, listen, still to this day, people think Jadon Sancho is on 350k a week. He isn't. It's 250 with 100 of win bonuses and goal bonuses, and he ain't had many of them. He ain't had many of them.
Though, isn't
he? Yeah. You know, he is, but I still don't think it's right. Whether he's been good, bad, or indifferent, the media shouldn't have a. For me, it's about. I want to defend.
No, but that's what they do, Terry. They put it out there as weekly wage. It's not weekly. You know this. You worked in finance at Barclays.
No, gets paid weekly. It's monthly.
Thank you.
On top of that, I am disgusted that the media consistently is allowed to lie about the salary that players earn. They did it to Zlatan at Man United. They were talking about him being on 450 a week. Do you know how I know how much Zlatan was earning? I was his bank manager in the res non-domiciled section of Barclays Bank. If you don't believe I did that job, go check out my LinkedIn. My job.
Did you ever meet him?
Telephone. Most of the Man United players, it was telephone with. You couldn't get near him, to be honest with you.
Nah.
A few of them. I met.
It'd be sick to have a sit down with, mate. I bet he's got some stories.
Victor Lindelof, when he moved to United, opened his bank accounts. Eric Bailly opened his bank accounts.
Yeah, that's sick.
But yeah,
but no, you're right though, man. You're right. The outrage for Saka's deal is pathetic, but that's because he's not got the PR Marcus Rashford's got. Right.
No, Rashford has a lot of crap as well, because they when we lost to Liverpool the other week, I think by the Wednesday he was out in his car, and it's like after humiliating defeat, Rashford's seen out in his Lamborghini. It's like, so what? He's gone to the shops. He's allowed to drive a Lamborghini.
Milk.
He has earned that. There ain't a footballer. Most footballers out there, they earn their money, and I've always said it. I don't buy into this notion that footballers shouldn't be paid so much money. I get people say that nurses need to be paid more and teachers need to be paid more. They absolutely do. But that is a conversation to have with politicians. That is not Marcus Rashford's fault. It's not Bukayo Saka's fault. They are paid a very good percentage of the money that they generate. As much as, stewards and, the caterers and everybody else. I know there's lots of lower paid jobs in football that are important, but the footballers are the reason we all bloody watch it. The footballers and the managers and the coaches are the reason we watch football. They're the reason we fall in love. And I love the fact that football has got to a point where the most pivotal people to it are now earning a good percentage of what football turns over and football makes. If we could all get that from our jobs, if we could all get that from our employers, we would. The reason we can't, though...
How many houses you got again?
Yeah, but I've earned it. The point is, I grew up in a house, but the point I'm making is that most people can't get to that point in their job because most of us, in most people's jobs, in most people's professions, whether we like it or not, and by the way, when I was at Barclays, no matter how well I did, I was 100% just a number and I could be replaced. It is with footballers, there's a finite amount of them in the world. And if you want the best at your club, you have to pay a premium. Now, they don't all work out. Some flop, some don't do well. But you don't... Man United didn't know Jadon Sancho was going to be so poor. They paid him because they thought he was going to come in and be the Dortmund Sancho. That's bad judgment from the club, you could argue. But footballers stereotypically deserve what they earn and what they're paid. Sometimes some players are given extensions that they shouldn't be. They should be moved on. Again, but that's bad decision-making. They're only being paid normally. And I'm just embarrassed today to see the media now come for Bukayo Saka, lie about his salary, increase it more. And by the way, if he starts to regress slightly, say he goes for a bad period.
Oh, they'll be on him.
No, you'll start to see him increase it. And I always say this to people, do your own research on it. When you're done watching the show, Google Alexis Sanchez signs for Man United and read the original articles that came out. You'll see them say 250, 300 grand a week is his salary. By the time it got, then search the Alexis Sanchez leaves Man United and look at the articles, they're quoting 500, 600 grand a week salary. Same journalists. What they did throughout his time of underperforming is like, it was every quarter, they added 50 grand onto his salary until it was like, he's on 600 grand a week and he ain't performing. That's why I pushed back from day one, because I think Saka's not going to go backwards. I think Saka's going to be fine. But you've got to defend these players. He's not on 300 grand a week. It's 200 grand a week. And there's incentives to get it to that level.
And let's be real. There's not a better right winger in the world right now. So he deserves that. And he's leveled up 3 years straight. So he deserves the money, man. Yeah, like nobody cried about Mohamed Salah getting his new deal, did they?
No.
And look how crap he's been since he signed it. Yeah, Bukayo Saka's 21. He's been our best player for 3 years straight. And he's got better every year of them 3 years. What's the issue? What's the issue? And not only that, who cares? It ain't your money.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, if you don't like how much footballers get paid, stop giving the football clubs and football your money. Like, I can't condone the way football spend their money if I'm willing to contribute towards paying them their money. It's really easy. It really, really is easy to do. If Salah's on 400k a week, people would be all over him. I mean, he's on 350 as it stands.
What, 18? Is that 18? About 18 million a year? Yeah, 18 million a year.
Yeah, but
you know how much money do Liverpool make every year?
But yeah, exactly. By the way, did you see what I sent you earlier? That in the summer, it's been revealed now by the Athletic that PSG offered Rashford a contract and said that if you sign for us for free next year, they'll pay him 400 grand a week base salary to go to PSG, essentially to be Mbappe's replacement. He ain't gonna go. He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay at Man United. But it just goes to prove how good Rashford is for me. Really, it really does.
Well, not really. Pochettino was their manager at one point.
Yeah, but the player.
Mate, not only that, Choupo-Moting was their striker at one point as well. Yeah,
Harry Kane would love his career. You know, Harry Kane would love Choupo-Moting's career.
Oh, mate, whoever Choupo-Moting's agent is needs a knighthood.
By the way, there's a comment here that's come through. It's a story from Todd Ruddy that there is widespread expectation that Mount will leave Chelsea. Paul Winstanley took over negotiations, but a deal has not been struck. The club would want at least 50 million. Would you take Mason Mount for 50 million?
No. I like Mount. I think he's a good player, but nah, there's better. It's better.
Yeah, I sort of Mount's an interesting one for me. I honestly think this guy's going Liverpool. He's going Liverpool. 110. That's an opinion. It's not based on anything other than an opinion. But for me,
so if he goes to Liverpool or is linked to Liverpool, all the Liverpool fans that come away from Jude Bellingham and go, we can get Mount and Rice. Then they'll sell dreams on Rice.
Bayern Munich are looking at him, actually. Bayern Munich, it says it here. Bayern Munich are looking at him as well. But yeah, Tom Roddy, who I think is a fairly credible journalist in the Chelsea fans really rate this guy. Mason Mount could be on his way out. I think that's the right thing to do. I really do. But I think for the right manager, I do think for a Jurgen Klopp, who typically wants a workhorse in the midfield, he's great. You know, he really is great. I tell you what else they should sign at Liverpool if they want another workhorse. Go get Scott McTominay. He'll do great for you as well. Let's do it.
They can have Eddie up front if they want as a backup to Noodles.
Yeah, exactly. That British core. They can have it right in the middle.
Yeah,
just run around.
He could be the Divock Origi off the bench, the super sub, like in Katie, couldn't he? Like,
no, it's just someone here. Look at this comment here. It says Jurgen Norbert Klopp. I can't believe his middle name. You dare sign him? Is what he says here. He could. By the way, did you see on Liverpool? Did you see the comments from Rudulit today?
Nah, I ain't. Sorry, I was on the beach, Terry, having lunch.
I know you. I saw.
I was in the mud.
Rudulit said and he was talking about himself and Van Basten are positively criticizing Virgil van Dijk. He is part of the team, right? Sorry, he was part of the team of the year, right? He got his nice reward, right? Then show yourself to us. If he's still worth it, everyone believes so, but I don't. Basically, Sam Van Dijk
negative. Yeah, how toxic and negative, Terry. He's got an agenda. How dare he? His ball knowledge is he's got zero ball knowledge. How dare he?
Yeah, Ruud Gullit and Van Basten, no ball knowledge.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but he's right. And do you know what? Serial winners, and will always be two of the greatest players ever to have played football. Yeah, Ruud Gullit was world class at every single position in midfield, DM, CM, and AM. Like he was and striker, and he was half decent at managing. Not great, but half decent. Yeah, top manager. Top players. I mean, top players. But yeah, he's right. Virgil van Dijk is finished. He's done. He's dusted. And I rate Van Dijk highly. I always have. But he's right, man. But Liverpool fans are a special bunch, and they'll probably all be abusing Ruud Gullit and Van Basten today.
Yeah. Saying they're overrated probably because they don't have as many assists. One of them won't have as many assists as Gerrard or some obscure or Gerrard got more votes on this, or this player didn't win that. And
have you seen the latest one? Scan rate. This is right up your street, Hill. Scan rate.
What is that? What is scan rate?
So it basically means looking over your shoulder before the ball comes. Yeah. Against Fulham, I see this. Somebody sent me the TikTok. I'll forward it on to you later. Somebody sent me the TikTok video. Martin Odegaard against Fulham scanned the pitch 493 times, which equals a scan rate of 0.5. How have you worked that out? 493 times you've looked. How does that equate to 0.5? How? Who? What? Which is why he had a super high forward pass completion rate. What a load of crap. He's literally looked over his shoulder. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Give me the ball. There's no one near me, mate. These people drive me insane.
Do you know what it is? So scan rate is essentially your awareness is good.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? I sometimes feel like, I know that Dean Saunders has done it recently, and so has Tim Sherwood, where they've slagged off modern day phrases. I think there's a happy medium on this. They're like angry and it's the same thing, and I'm just as good as those other managers. You're not, but they are right about the terminology. To call like spatial awareness, now you're calling it scan rate. It's a way of just making it sound different and more like sexy. You know something. Yeah, it makes
like, oh my god, his scan rate's insane, which means every time he has a shit game, I can use his scan rate to make out he had a great game and blame all the other players that weren't on his page.
You're gonna get players doing this now. Players doing this. Why are you doing that? I've got to get a scan rate up, bruv.
Mate, I did a show with Rance last Tuesday, yeah, and I played it on the screen, yeah, or maybe it was on his show a couple of Fridays ago. Yeah, he said, imagine being the sad bastard that sat there and thought, you know what, I have to watch how many times Martin Odegaard scans and click the little button. Imagine being the dickhead that's sitting there pressing the little thing. Oh, I know, I'm not going to watch the game. I'm just going to watch Martin Odegaard's head go like this and press a little thing to click.
The point is here. It is a football fundamental to scan. It's absolutely a football fundamental to scan. Your awareness, your ability to control relies upon it. The point of what's being laughed at is some people will make it sound like a new phenomenon. It isn't. We've always had it, and you don't actually you can have stats to quantify it. That's fine, but you can tell somebody that has good spatial awareness by their ability on the ball, by their ability of not losing possession, as in being not losing possession from attempting a really good through ball that's cut out by a goalkeeper or slightly overhit, or there's a great interception. Losing the ball where you don't know a man's about to run in from behind, because someone shouts man on, but you didn't check to see where he is and you can't move in time. We know it's a football fundamental. Totally understand that. I just love the new words that come out and how you say, right, so it's about awareness. Yes. Like I saw one the other day where someone said, oh, you've got to try and create numerical advantages on the right-hand side. And I saw a guy, what do you mean by that? Because you've got to try and create a situation where it might be one or two of you against that one fullback. He went, oh, so you're going to try and create a 2v1? He went, yes. So they are the same thing.
These people speak in these little sexy phrases and sexy words and use letters and numbers of the alphabet and all of this crap to actually make out they're actually clued up on football. Yeah, they're not. Like, I'll give an example. We live in an era now where you can have one pass in a game, play shit for the whole game, but that one pass gives you a pass for that 90 minutes of crap because it was an assist. Like, get in the bin. Yeah, get in the bin. I'll tell you something now, right? James Maddison got an assist for Saka's goal for England the other night. Are we for real here with assists? Yeah, Saka got a goal, an assist for Martinelli's goal against Palace at the weekend. Why? He weren't even looking, and he just smashed it on a reverse, not even looking, straight into the box, and he was aiming at Odegaard. Yeah, and it trickled through to Martinelli. That's an assist. That statue of Henry outside Arsenal, Patrick Vieira got the assist for that goal against Tottenham. He headed the ball in his own 6-yard box, and Thierry Henry ran the whole length of the pitch. Vieira assist. Like, come on, assist. Get in the bin. Get in the bin. Yeah, all of these stats, just rip them up. You're not hipsters. You're not smart. Stop looking at spreadsheets when you're watching the game.
Yes and no. Yes and no on something. So I think scan rate is not a bad idea, but no, hang on. Wait. So you don't let me finish my point. If you're backing up, if you're using it as to supplement a point you're making. So if you're talking about someone's spatial awareness is great, their ability to retain possession is great, as a holding midfield player as an example, scan rate might be a stat that proves what you're talking about. But just to say my midfielder is great because he's got a better scan rate than you, well, but he loses the ball just as much. It doesn't make sense. I think it can be used, but you've got to contextualize these things a little bit.
Does anybody know Paul Scholes' scan rate?
Let's go back. But then your point about stats also needs to be addressed, because the way they count stats, assist stats, they changed the threshold in 2004. So it essentially became easier in 2004 to get assists. You never used to get an assist if you played a 2-yard pass 30 yards out, because I think it was Anderson that played the ball to Ronaldo against Porto, and then he scored that 50-yard screamer. That didn't count back then. That was after 2004. And I'm going to go back and check. I don't think that counted as an assist.
But then Sky Sports cottoned on to the fact that, oh, look, we can make this sound amazing and we can be revolutionary. Yeah, if we do this, and we can hype players up based on assists. And then all these kids have come along since then. Yeah, have football profile players. Why? That's weird, by the way. Why don't you have your own picture instead of a footballer's picture? Bit weird. But anyway, and now, doesn't matter how shit the player is. Oh, but he got an assist. Yeah, but he was crap for 94 minutes of the game, mate. Yeah, it don't matter. He got the assist that got us a draw. Like, this is what the world we live in. It's mad. It is actually mad. It's like when a player scores a goal and he's been shit all game. Oh, yeah, but he scored a goal. And what did he actually do for the team today? He was shocking. Kept giving the ball away. Kept tripping over the ball. Yeah, but he got the goal. Like, come on, man. Stop looking at stats. I swear these people look at SofaScore and rate a player.
Absolutely spot on. So I've just gone onto the page on who scored. Ronaldo scored that screamer. It wasn't Anderson, by the way. It was a different midfield. It might have been Anderson came on later in the game, but no one got the assist for that. So this is why one thing I'd say about the stats is some of them stack up. and I use them. I'm not against stats. But what I want to see Opt to do is go back. I don't care how many years, 50 years. And you don't have to rewatch every game. You just got to watch the goals from the games. And you've got to readjust. I guarantee you, players that started post 2004 and that era and beyond it, I guarantee a lot more. I guarantee you the likes of Giggs, Birdcamps, Teddy Sheringham, just to name a few, McManamans. I bet you they've got anywhere between 50 to 150 more assists than their current stat show. You actually look at some players like the Zidane's. You look at the first 4 or 5 years of his career. It basically shows he has no assists because the league.
Yeah, look at Ronaldinho as well.
Yeah, they didn't count them back then. So they have to go back and readjust, because otherwise what you're going to create is a false narrative of all these stats being built up in this era, but they weren't counting them before.
So then you have idiots sit there and go, but my player's better than him. Yeah, that legend. It's like, mate, did you watch it, Dan? No.
This here says, please explain how Poch has lost a one-horse race. You can't be talking about the season he took over. I can be, because for me, he took over with long enough to turn it round. And in my opinion, PSG, there's no excuse to not win a league title ever, even if you're 3, 4, 5, 6 points behind, because of your resources, the squad you've got, and everything. You shouldn't be losing the league in France ever. Terry, when Arsenal win the league, will you invite fans? Will you invite fans on the trophy parade? Well, I won't be there, my friend.
I think he's having a dig at you, saying, "Will you invite fans?" I think that's classified.
But I don't understand it. As a Man United fan, why would I want City to win the league over you? Why would I want them to potentially do a treble and to do a three-peat where then next year they can do a four-peat? I wouldn't. I want Arsenal. I don't want you winning it, but you're the best of a bad bunch right now. Do you know what I mean? Lee used to use stats to criticize Saka and Odegaard and big up Pepe. Do better.
Not at all. Not at all, because I've never counted assist stats in the whole time I've had a YouTube channel, mate. Yeah, and if you want to determine it as, oh, he's saying that he don't score enough goals and you're taking that as stats, then cool, whatever you want to do, mate. Yeah, Pepe had an output because he scored goals that won us football matches. Yeah, Pepe, yeah, if you want to talk about assists, got one for Aubameyang's goal in the FA Cup final, mate, that won us the game. Yeah, Martin Odegaard don't shoot enough. This season he does. That's my point. Yeah, shoot more, you'll score more. It's not difficult. I couldn't give a shit how many goals Odegaard scores. If we win a title, win a title. Yeah, because I ain't got an affiliation in terms of emotionally to any of these players. Because guess what? In 10 years' time, none of them will be here. Club's the start. I am 20 minutes late for my stream.
Last two final super chats. Sorry, this one here says Liverpool fans are so high on Moneyball that they create their own stats just to win arguments. Terry, if you like, listen to your Liverpool panel when they speak. They're obsessed with stats, is what Mercy has got to say here. I'll do that next time.
They are. Liverpool fans use stats more than any other team, and that's saying a lot, because Arsenal fans love a stat.
Terry, would you ever want Man United to lose purposely? The reason I ask is because I am a Baltimore Ravens fan in the NFL, and we are about to lose our quarterback, Lamar Jackson, and I just don't know where they go. Look, I've wanted United to lose before when I wanted Ollie out, because I can see the greater good. I can see the greater good. I can see the greater good. Do you know what I'm saying? That comes after.
That's toxic and negative. You're not a United fan. Why don't you F off down to Liverpool, mate? Or to City? Why don't you go and support Oldham?
It's like if my daughter had a boyfriend that I thought was a tool and he weren't very nice to her, and I'd want him to break up with her. Because yes, you'd be upset. But then
another example. Another example. If Tottenham had to beat Arsenal, let me say this again. If Arsenal were playing Tottenham, yeah, but if Tottenham beat Arsenal, that means that they. No, I'm not getting this right. Fucking hell. Let me start. Sorry, end the stream. End the stream. I'm going. What I'm trying to say is, you can want your team to lose. Doesn't matter who it's against. If it stops somebody else, not Tottenham, I meant Man United. Man United, Tottenham, whoever it may be. Arsenal could play Tottenham, who I don't consider as rivals. And if they beat Arsenal, that stops Man United winning the league. Yeah, then there's a scenario where you can say, yeah, fuck it. Because I don't see Tottenham as rivals. I see you as rivals. Yeah, and you'll probably do the same if it was the other way around. If Arsenal were playing Man United on the last day of the season, and if we win the game, Man City don't win the league, you'd happily lose that game.
100.
You still see Arsenal as a rival.
Yeah, no, 110%.
There you go.
100.
Terry, I've got to go.
I know you have, mate. Listen, viewers,
Literally
I appreciate you all so much. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go check out Lee's channel right now. He's about to go live with rants, so go do that. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.